Hey, we're back with the Official Visit podcast here with Tui Talia, Oregon senior defensive lineman, junior college transfer. And I just want to start out, last year you came in, everyone kind of said that your head was spinning, which probably should be after you first get here.
Yeah.
And now you're basically essentially a starter, along with Henry Mondu. You're one of two guys who'll be rotating quite a bit along that line. Can you contrast just what the last year's been like, where before you were just kind of relying essentially on your physicality, and now you're kind of pairing that maybe with more so with the mental? Yeah,
so last year when I first came, I was always hesitant in playing, especially in games. It's just like a whole new era that I'm coming into. So like the fans, the noise, everything, the plays, it just all got to me. And how that changed this year, it's just basically that I got used to that after the first season. So I'm just planning on playing more relaxed, more fast, because all the mental part of the game is already in me, already installed in me, and I just feel way more comfy this year than I do last year, especially coming out of fall camp. A pretty good fall camp, I believe, that I had. So I just feel way more comfortable in the position I'm in right now than I was last year.
So you talked about it's not only kind of the system you're playing that you're adjusting to, but just all the things surrounding college football.
Yeah.
So the fans, you mentioned that. How big is the biggest crowd you played in front of at your JUCO?
It was nothing compared to the smallest crowd that I've played in against over here. It's just JUCO, the biggest crowd would be 300 people at a game, whereas over here it's just 60, 80,000. It's just crazy how loud the fans will get and stuff. So, and I just had to try to get my focus last year. But
yeah, how do you do that? Is that something you do in pregame warmups where you try to mentally lock in, or how do you essentially block out 60,000 to 100,000 fans when that's a pretty jarring experience?
Last year I would just try to take a deep breath and just relax, play more calm. But it'll still get to me. But I feel this year I can just, because I know all the plays, the signals defensively, I can just be more relaxed and calm, in games, and not let the loud fans get to me and stuff. But.
Sure. Take me back now. I don't think many people know about you. You've only been on campus for a year. I think there's an expectation of what you'll play like and who you are. But I know this summer I got to know you a little bit when I covered a art class that you took part in, Art of the Athlete. That showed me a little different side of you. You had a really good time with one of the girls who's kind of special needs you paired with, and you had probably one of the best rapports of the whole class. Take me back, though, to when you grew up. Where'd you grow up, and what's your family like? Tell me a little about that.
I grew up in Concord, California, in apartment complexes with my family, and our Polynesian families are really big. So I grew up living with my auntie and my brothers and my auntie's kids. So we had a really big family, and growing up, my mom would always force us to, or not force us, but make us go to church every single weekend. And I feel her way of making us grow up has evolved into the person that I am right now. I'm just chill, religious, or not religious, not the most religious person ever that you've met or whatever, but all that comes out just shows in my character who I am and stuff. But I'm just a big goofy kid, goofy nice kid.
Do you still keep in contact with your cousins, your auntie?
Yeah, every single one of them. They all still live together now at a house in Sacramento. But yeah, every single one of them. We're all really close.
Was it hard at all because you're pretty close? I know Oregon isn't that far away from Concord, Sacramento, but was it hard to get away from that? Were you maybe hoping D1 school would open up closer to the Bay Area, or did you maybe getting away a little bit?
I liked it. I liked getting away from it a little bit, and it's just part of growing up for me. That that's what I saw. Just me growing up, getting away from my family and stuff.
Tell me about JUCO. Why that route, and how much recruiting interest, if at all, did you get out of high school?
I had an older brother that also played JUCO at the same junior college that I went to.
Diablo Valley, right?
Yeah, Diablo Valley. So I just followed his footsteps because I was just coming out of high school. I was just gonna go to JUCO and just play football, and my brother just telling me, like a lot of like players go D2, D1 from that JUCO.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't expecting anything big like Oregon. I was just gonna go and play football.
Yeah.
Just to have something to do out of my free time and stuff. Just keep me busy.
When those recruiters show up for those JUCO games and watch you or practice, do you know that? Does your coach let you know, hey, Don Pelham is here to look at you, or et cetera? Or do they try to keep it away from you that way you're not thinking about it?
They let us know. Sometimes they'll let us know, or like sometimes we can just like we'll just see like the recruits in like the coach's office speaking, because their offices are just like right next to our locker rooms, so like we could see like who's in there and stuff. So like whenever like the players would see coaches from Division I schools, they would just get like all hyped up, and that I feel like motivated a lot of players. It motivated me, in like playing better and stuff, playing hard on the field.
Sure. What are the facilities like at Diablo Valley College compared to, like, what's the locker room like compared to here?
Different, way different. We at my JUCO we had like 2 different locker rooms, and defense would be in one locker and offense would be in another locker room. But it's just like the scene of it is different. It's just like a high school locker room.
Sure.
But it's just like everyone's together, so like we all are good friends and stuff because we're in that one locker room. I mean, defensively, and then offense would be just like doing their own thing and stuff. But as all the players and stuff, they're like all the same and stuff. But it's really different over here. It's just super nice.
Yeah. Did you grow up playing football or wanting to play football, or were you just so big that people said, hey, you should play football?
I grew up wanting, because my brother, when he went into his freshman year, that was like the first year that he started putting on pads and playing football. And then I told my dad to put me on a Pop Warner team, and so there was like a Pop Warner team that would practice at the high school my brother played at Ignatia Valley, and we just went up to the Pop Warner coach and asked him, and he just told us the price and got on pads like the next day, and it was like hard. I played with Dylan Wynn, who was at Oregon State.
Yeah.
We played Pop Warner together, and I remember like this first day, I was like playing running back, like I ran the ball and Dylan Wynn just tackles me, grabs me by the face, and just throws me down, and that like woke me up. That was like, oh, this is football, dang, that was crazy. But yeah, I remember that from Dylan Wynn because Dylan Wynn was like big time baller at that area from De La Salle and stuff. So
yeah, that's an interesting thing you bring up because you went to Ignacio Valley, which is actually Mike Bellatti's old high school. Mike Bellotti, former Oregon coach. I remember you said last year that you didn't know Mike Bellotti had any connection to that until you got on Oregon's campus. I actually told Bellotti that once, and he said that he kind of laughed. He's like, yeah, I'm not a very big deal back home. But what's that divide like between De La Salle and kind of the other high schools in that area where obviously they've earned a lot of what the publicity they get? What's it like to have those guys in your backyard?
It's just like Ignatia Valley would be right here and De La Salle would be right there.
Just right next door to each other?
Yeah, so like we could see their practice field from our school, and they were just like so prestigious. Like all us or like me and most of the other players from YV would just like go after school before practice and just watch them practice for a little because they practiced way earlier than we did, and then it's just like it's crazy how they're like right next to us and they're like this big time school and everything. And like us just next to them, they like take all the good players from our school and stuff. But yeah, it was really cool having them next to us and stuff.
Did you ever go see the movie When the Game Stands Tall about De La Salle?
We actually watched it over here at our movie theater. It was a great movie.
Yeah,
I really liked it.
Did you know the connection to Oregon with Terrence Kelly?
No, I didn't until the movie came out and then people started talking and I was like, oh really? He went to De La. I was surprised.
Yeah, yeah. That De La Salle team had I think 4 guys come to Oregon. And
dang.
Yeah, Cameron Colvin was the #1 wide receiver in the country. I think he's in the movie. He's played by.
I think he's like a writer now, isn't he? Or
entrepreneur out in Arizona. Yeah.
Okay,
Well, What do you want to get out of this season when it's all said and done for yourself personally?
I, s- I set I set like a goal last year right after the season. Basically just to try to make it to the back to the national championship, like to help the team make it, and a personal goal to making the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So those are like my hopes and dreams for this season to accomplish and stuff.
2 years ago when you're playing at junior college,
Mhm.
would those dreams have seemed a little far-fetched maybe to yourself?
Yeah. Heck yeah. My like I every year like after a season I would like set personal goals and stuff that I want to achieve, and last year didn't really go that way, but you know I got a lot of playing time, and just it was just different, that's why. But yeah, so hopefully I accomplished those goals that I had this year.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of people who talk about defensive line and they look at Oregon, and for years it's like, why can't Oregon stop the big running teams? Obviously last year, Michigan State, you guys have good success against them. Stanford, you bottle them up. Florida State, you pretty much bottle them up. But then there's like that one game that kind of brings back the notion, can Oregon stop? Do you guys take that to heart? Do you guys think about that? Do you guys hear that criticism? Or is that something that you maybe know is out there but you don't want to focus on?
That's like something I don't think any of us take it to heart. It's just the preparation. We just like preparation. It's just we just feel it that like, or I don't know how to explain this, but I don't really take it to heart.
Yeah.
When I hear like what the public has to say about the D line. We just go out there and just play our hearts out and just try to do our job, and I feel like it's just a lot of mental mistakes made on the field that allow that one team to like run over us and stuff. But yeah, I don't really like try to focus on that stuff on the public and stuff.
You talked about doing your job.
Mm-hmm.
What is, I know this is a general question, and there's a lot of different schemes and looks you guys are going to get, but what is like a kind of a good example of what your job is from any given play? Are you trying to hold one specific gap on the O-line to make sure that no one gets through there, or are you turned free to kind of make plays? I mean, how would you describe what your responsibility is like?
Just depending on there'll be plays where they want, like for the D line, speaking for like D line, there'll be plays like where they just want us to shoot a gap, or like where they want us to like hold two gaps at once, and whichever, depending on the play, every single play has like a specific job for the specific position, and if like one doesn't do their job, it just affects the whole defense as like one. Like say if I was like, my job was to like protect that B gap, and then I like accidentally go into like the C gap into the outside backer's position, that hole is like wide open for the running back just to like run in. So like just we all got to just stay on top of like doing our assignment and what the coaches give us.
Yeah.
And every single play that the defense had is really good. So if we all stick to like our job or like whatever the coaches teach us, we'll be fine. There's just like sometimes where we get off and then a big play breaks loose and stuff.
Sure. What was the toughest offensive line you feel like you faced last year?
Toughest offensive line? Ohio State for sure. But personally, I think Florida State was the second after Ohio State. Just the big old dudes from Florida. They're just more heavy, and I think they're way more heavy than Pac-12 O-linemen. But there's like one dude from Washington who was really big. He was just like hard to move and stuff. But yeah, Florida State, Ohio State, I feel like were the two hardest O-line.
Sure. Coach Don Pelham last year told me that there was a point where he would watch you on film in the offseason and could tell that things were starting to click for you mentally. That he's turned the corner, and now he's not only using the strength, but he's using it wisely. Mm-hmm. Do you remember a feeling like that where things seemed to turn for you?
I think the like when we came to conference play, or not like 2 games, I think it was like the UCLA game. I had a great week of practice, and just knowing that, you know, I was capable of doing the things I was doing at practice, it just really helped, me gain confidence in myself and all that stuff. And I feel like that probably was the point where he was talking about the UCLA week. And from there on, I just try to stay consistent with having great practices and just becoming a better player on the field.
Is there a play from last year that you pick out as maybe your most satisfying or your favorite that you did?
I'd say one of the TFLs I had in Washington was probably the most memorable play for me that I really liked.
Okay.
I swum over an O lineman and ran and got the TFL, and then I was just really happy at that moment.
Maybe this is a silly question, but how much do you weigh?
As of right now, 280, 281.
I can't imagine that's what your normal body weight is, frame-wise.
Oh, no.
How much do you have to eat throughout the season when you're getting hurt and pounded and it's not easy to keep weight on? How much do you have to eat to kind of keep that body weight up?
I stay eating. Even if it's just a little snack, I'll always have something on me to eat, like a protein bar, because we have so much over here that they provide for us. And so we have breakfast, lunch, dinner, obviously, and I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner over here, and just always carry a snack bar with me, or just go to Hawaiian Time, Chipotle, or wherever is open.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's really any restriction on what you can eat because you need to keep weight on, or do you try to be smart about?
I try to be smart about it, because I just feel sluggish when I eat fast food and stuff. I don't feel like I can run as well as I do when I eat a certain type of food and stuff.
I see. Real quick on kind of a peer level, DeForest Buckner, I think, is viewed as one of the maybe best defensive linemen in the country.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about him from a technical level that he does very well? The size is pretty obvious, 6'8", 290, but what makes him so successful that you see as a fellow defensive lineman?
It's just the hard. One of the coaches said that he mastered his position, and that's it's true. He mastered defensive line position, that part, and just his technique is just great. He locks out and just dominates O linemen without hesitation or anything. Just that, and his effort that he puts on. He's always running to the ball. He never gets tired. He's just DeForest. He never gets tired. But and his leadership as well. But yeah, all those play a big part of who he is right now and the position he's in right now.
Sure. So for this first game, is your family going to be able to make it up and watch you?
Yeah. Yep. They're
who else coming?
It's just my parents and one of my cousins that live with me.
Okay.
Because my other brothers are working. So.
How many brothers do you have?
I have 2 brothers.
Okay.
But I consider 2 of my cousins as my brothers, because we've lived with them our whole life. So 2 real brothers and 2 brothers 2 cousins that I consider brothers.
Okay. Did your parents grow up playing sports? I mean, do you get the athleticism that passed down?
No, they grew up in the islands.
Okay.
But my dad said he played a little rugby here and there, but he never really told me stories about that. And my mom played a little basketball, but just for the church. But then I don't really know from an athletic standpoint if they're involved in sports like that.
Sure. But you started playing pretty early, it sounds like.
Yeah, I followed my brother's footsteps. As soon as he put on the pads, I wanted to be like him, and then I put on the pads.
Did you ever play anything else besides football, or was football pretty much it?
Just football, and then I did a little wrestling for a little, but then I couldn't stick to it because of an ankle sprain, so I just stopped going.
I see. Well, I appreciate it, you meeting up with us and talking about the season opener. I imagine you're a little anxious to get there and finally hit somebody who's not wearing green or white.
I can't wait to just go out there and just be focused and relax and just play the game.
Sure. Thank you very much, Tui.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks.